Detective Mudia, and anyone else joining us live. This isn't what I had planned. I have been on the road for about a month. Spent a couple weeks with my parents, another week in New York City, and another week with my wonderful girlfriend. And I was planning on being home tomorrow night, but or I guess at least earlier this morning. And I'm not. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to like try out what would happen if I ever did van life and like set up my whole live stream rig from my car? Yeah, no, that didn't work. So I'm on my phone. I'm not sure how long we're gonna go. This is definitely not gonna be a 2-hour stream. I was thinking we would, as the expression goes, touch the strings today. Do a little meditation. Might read a little bit of a book in preparation for recording an audiobook that I'm trying to do with this funny looking old man. And then do a proper stream next weekend. I want to bring back the music. Anybody who's been tuning in for the last while will know that it's been sad to not have mouth sound, the weirdly named musical segment that I have grown fond of, and since moving has not totally been set up. I was hoping to do that today. That's not going to happen today. So we're going to do the abbreviated Self Care Sunday experience this Sunday, and next Sunday I'll be back for a fuller bit. But while we're here, R.I.P. mouth sounds. Well, it will rise again, stronger than ever. In the meantime, I would love to. Oh, can you guys hear me? Okay. I realize that this may be using my car's microphone over Bluetooth. Hopefully that's working. Awesome. Just open up that chat. I don't want to put anybody in a timeout. YouTube. Okay, great. Yeah, Ruffles is very very pissed at me for not being back home already. Oh, it's kind of grainy, but you can hear me. 1 second. I wonder if this will work. Is that any better, folks? Can you hear me a little better now? Or does that sound worse? Better or worse? Oh, I realize I have this little number, very advanced, expensive piece of technology right here. Fuck, it's worse. Great. I have a strong feeling that this will be an improvement. Let's see. How about now? Ow now, brown cow. Ow now, brown cow. Let's hope that that is working the best of all, and you'll let me know in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's not watching this live, and if you like what you're seeing, definitely smash that like button, thumbs up button. I feel so horrible saying that, but I think the algorithm likes me better. I don't know. It's something to, it's a game to play. Oh, laptop for chat. Damn. Well, welcome, Shooting Star Neo. It's a delight to have you here. Once again, for any latecomers, I will be live again next weekend with a proper Self-Care Sunday setup. It is as you can see, mobile session. I was trying to plug in a whole computer. This little thing is not designed for that. It is crying. I don't know what that flashing light means, but I doubt it means anything good. So I was thinking maybe we would start with something that I could use. I'm a little bit new to driving. It's a little stressful, still getting used to it. I am a little bit like getting over beating myself up for being late again, because I like time, and here we are. I think I'm trying to leave my phone there. Perhaps I will use Crazy Tripod as just like a weight. Okay, there we go. So yes, I was hoping to be home. We're not home. I'm like, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it now, and we're going to do it as best as we can. And I was thinking we would start with a meditation today because I have little else to do but meditate and read, seeing as I don't think that I'm going to get the music situation working without my computer. So yes, without further ado, oh yeah, we're parked. This is not a self-driving car. This is not, yes, this is not a situation where anybody is at any risk. Hang on a sec. Hello, Gray Kilgore. Great to have you with us. I just had a quick bite at the gas station behind me, so hence the mask. But yeah, so long as we're here, why don't we arrive in this present moment with a little meditation? If anybody joins late and is wondering what is going on in the chat, thank you in advance for letting them know that we are meditating. And yeah, that is what's up. Before we get started, Kate B has a quick question. And also, definitely drop in the chat where you're coming from, what you're doing for yourself, for your self-care Sunday today. Other than dropping in here, of course. Just for some context, I am wrapping up a summer of driving since moving from Brooklyn to an undisclosed location in upstate New York. I have acquired a car, and after spending a year in a dim basement in Brooklyn, I am anxious to see as safely as possible the people that I love. And so I've been cruising around for the last little bit, spending time with parents, visiting with friends, spending time with my girlfriend, and yeah, just like getting back to life. And now I'm driving back home. And so yes, hello from Michigan. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Aryan Shirla. Aryan Shirla. Happy birthday. So dope. This is awesome. Let's see here. Now I'm wondering, how do you play the birthday song? Maybe that's the move. Ooh. Perhaps. Oh my god. Maybe we can make music happen anyway. Oh, this is going to be bad, you guys. But maybe it'll be fun. Let's see here. Huh? Oh boy, free gas station Wi-Fi. Can you do it? Because I can't pair to my phone, because my phone is running the stream. Perhaps we can find... Oh god, I'm accepting the terms. I'm sure that they can now spy on my search for the birthday song chords on ukulele. Okay. Birthday song. Birthday song, ukulele. Oh my god. The internet is so powerful. G7 CF. G7 CF.
All right, let's see here. Um, I'm not sure that's right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh, I see. So it's C. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay, we gotta go back. So great to have you all here, everybody, in my car, doing Some Gear Sunday. This is fun. I'm glad I just started and didn't freak out about like not having a computer or whatever. Okay. You guys are the best. What are we doing here? Aryan Chirla. Okay, third time's a charm. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aryan Chirla. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Ah. It's very much out of tune, Jake Nichols, and the tuner is dead, and the other tuner is my phone, so that's what we got, and we're working with it. I wouldn't kill for perfect pitch, but I might maim. Bad dark jokes. Okay, with that out of the way, I encourage you to find a comfortable seat, laying down for this little mindful moment on the road, which I don't know about y'all, but after hurdling 70 or so miles down a highway, I could sure take that take that breath and encourage you to join me. If anybody in the chat joins and would like some whatchamacallit, yeah, basically if somebody asks what the fuck we're doing, we're meditating. Okay. Finding your comfortable seat. Just letting yourself check in with what it feels like to be you right now. Sitting, feeling that pull of gravity sink you down. Just becoming aware of your weight against whatever surface is there. Bring your attention to the feeling of your breathing. If you're wondering where to focus, because there's so many parts involved in our breathing, you can play around and get a sense of whether it's a stronger sensation for you around your nose or mouth or wherever the air is coming in. Maybe it's easier to focus instead on the belly, for the chest as your body inflates and deflates with every inhale and exhale. And with every exhale, see if you can't let go. Sink a little deeper into your chair, or if you're lying down, into the floor. Noticing that inhale and surrendering on the exhale. Letting go on the exhale. Noticing the muscles around your eyes and nose. Letting go of any tension in your jaw. Just letting your mouth hang open if you have to. Breathing in slowly and steadily, and dropping down again with every exhale. We're just going to keep working that. Gentle inhale, surrendering on the exhale, letting your seat or the floor hold you more and more. You may notice thoughts popping into your head, distracting you from these physical sensations. That's not a problem. It's perfectly normal. And you can just notice those thoughts. And go on to include that awareness of the breath. If your mind is super racy and distracting you more than you'd like, I recommend taking a break from the meditation and getting up and doing some jumping jacks, just to shake it up. Shift that energy in your body. And if you haven't closed your eyes yet, closing your eyes. Bringing that attention back to the sensation of breathing. relaxing deeper with every exhale. See if you can feel in the center of your chest the sensation of your heartbeat, the little drum beat of your pulse circulating the blood in your body every second. If you've noticed that little rhythm in your chest, keep it in your awareness as you continue to relax deeper with every breath. And if you can't feel that pulsating in your chest, that's okay. It's a very subtle sensation. You can simply see if you can feel it anywhere else. For me, it's most noticeable in my hands and feet, and sometimes in my neck. Just a real gentle, subtle, quiet pulsation. Echoes of that heart beating. With the eyes still closed, continuing to follow the rise and fall of the breath. Continuing to relax deeper with every exhale. Continue to also notice that heartbeat sensation for the next little while. Bringing your attention to the feelings of your body against the chair or floor. Those points of contact. You can include in your awareness the sounds around you. both near and far. And whenever you're ready to bring this meditation to a close, you can start to wiggle your fingers and toes, slowly fluttering your eyes open. Allow the light to come back. If you'd like to take a final deep breath, you can join me with that right now. And maybe you'd like to stretch. I'm going to try to do right now, too. Oh. And thus completes this Self-Care Sundays Moment of Mindfulness, brought to you by the Interstate. I could really do that more often. I would not complain if I did. That was very relaxing for me. And if you're wondering why the guidance is oriented around physical sensations, the breathing, the weight of the body in the chair and those points of contact, the way it was explained to me is the brain is like a line, and the frontal cortex, whatever, this part of the brain is all about planning, rationalizing, worrying, all of that anxiety thinking, all of that judging is all happening up here, whereas back here is the more primal sort of older part of the brain, the more animal part of the brain that has less of these stress-inducing tendencies and more just simple input recording of those physical sensations. And the more we can bring ourselves back, I think the more the front part of our brain works more efficiently and effectively. If you've ever been, say, listening to a podcast and missed your stop on the train or an exit driving, or your turn just going for a walk and you were supposed to turn at a block, that is a perfect example of how we can get stuck up here and lack the awareness of sitting further back in the brain. That is a very, very basic, non-scientific explanation of the value of these meditation practices. Sort of resetting and recharging to get more out of what we got. Well then, on that note, I was thinking I might do a little bit of reading before we break, but my God, there is chat happening that I am not present to. I actually didn't fall asleep this time, but I have ever. Driving lessons from Zach Valenti. Ha 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 ha. I am borderline a new driver in many ways. I would not learn driving from me. Just saying. Chanting. Chanting Om. I've never done that live before, Jake, but that would be fun to do. I feel like that would be fun to do with a group of people. I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna think about that. Yeah, I was no, don't end the stream. Don't, not yet. So my thing with driving was, so my father's mother was a housewife, and her dying wish to my mom was that she get and keep her driver's license to be free. And so when I was getting ready for college, as somebody who grew up in New York City and didn't ever have a need for a car and thought driving was for, for other people than me, um, it was a surprise to me that suddenly I wasn't allowed to leave for college unless I learned to drive. So I went on a tear just trying to find a driving school that would have me immediately, because I had like, a month to do this in, and found the minimum package of like a week's worth of trainings, where somebody shows up in a car that has 2 steering wheels so you can drive and they can fix it if you fuck up. And I drove for that week. I maybe put in 1 extra hour of practice, and I think I had exactly 5 more points to lose before I would have had to retest. And I got a license. I like to say I was licensed to kill, as well as drive, because 5 more points, and I wouldn't have been able to drive. So anyway, thankfully, I've had many good friends who have put up with me over the years learning to actually drive, while they white-knuckled it in the passenger seat, just being like, I hope I live to tell the tale about this one. So that was years ago. And then this April, I got this here car, and I love this car. It's my first car. I'm very curious to see how long I will make this car last. I've just got the oil changed, and yeah, I'm just like still getting used to like following the GPS navigations and like kind of focusing on everything that's happening at once. And yeah, it is one of those things that I am still at the base of the mountain of mastery, and am lucky to get to do. I very much enjoy driving. I got a very fair deal on this car, which was awesome, and I intend to take damn good care of it. If you can believe it, let me see. Yeah, I installed this thing myself. I like took out the old radio and put this in, and actually even set up a backup camera, which is pretty cool. I will not show you that now, because being in the passenger seat, that would be bad to engage without having my foot on the brake. I do know this. Yeah, so I was thinking the last thing that we would do is maybe a little bit of reading. I've got this book, U.G. Krishnamurti, The Mystique of Enlightenment. It is a book with no copyright. I think in the author's own words. Where is that? My teaching, if that is the word you want to use, has no copyright. You are free to reproduce, distribute, interpret, misinterpret, distort, garble, do what you like, even claim authorship without my consent or the permission of anybody. So that is a big part of the motivation of this being the book that I will self-record and edit as sort of an audiobook for the purposes of having a portfolio, because I'd like to break into audiobook work. And the fun fact of audiobook work is the catch-22 of most careers, especially in creative fields, of when you interview or like talk to people about like, hey, I'd love to do this. They're like, cool, call me when you've done it. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I thought we were talking about doing it. And they're like, yep, call me when you have one of those jobs. That would be great. I'm like, but you're the one who hires. They're like, yeah, have fun. So I'm like, fuck, okay. I guess I need to self-produce one so that I have a credit for when I talk to people who would maybe hire me for paid opportunities. So that is what reading this is about. And I've read the beginning at some point in a previous month. I think this was last month, maybe the month before. So I don't want to reread everything that I've read already, because what's the point of that for all of y'all who were here? But I will pick it up from page 6. I believe we ended on page 8 or so. So yeah, just for some context, this dude I found out about because YouTube at some point played for me the audiobook of this book, which was part 1 of 2, and there's no part 2, if that makes sense. So one day I was just like on YouTube, and I started hearing this weird garbled robot voice being like, the mystique of enlightenment, and so it was a book read by a computer, and there's only half of it. And I shrugged it off, and then it came back a couple months later, probably because I was watching Jiddu Krishnamurti videos, who was a philosopher, religious, sort of like mindfulness character. He was very popular for a time and has a ton of content on YouTube. And in fact, if you listen to the Focused AF podcast feed that I put out, there are daily meditations by this guy, Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was abducted from a beach. I've told this story a bunch of times, but he was abducted from a beach basically at the ripe old age of 9 or so in India by some cultists from the UK who took him and his brother back with them after like paying his father to turn him into the leader of their spiritual movement, thinking that he was like the vessel for the world teacher. So this is Jiddu Krishnamurti. There's no relationship between him and UG. They just have the same surname. They're not actually related. This guy grew up with that guy's picture on the wall. So his whole childhood was lived under the shadow of a so-called enlightened being. And his dream, his goal, his North Star in life was to achieve this thing called enlightenment. And maybe it doesn't exist. We don't know. I don't know. I for sure don't know. But he has some interesting thoughts. So yeah, I ended up after the YouTube algorithm kept pushing this half of this book read by a robot on me. I got through that half eventually. I was like, this is actually very interesting. And then the book cut off and there's no part 2 on YouTube. So I bought the book. I have the book. It's got no copyright. I figured we'd read it. So yeah, something happened to him that just like changed my whole perspective on enlightenment, and that's like maybe a weird game of telephone that humans have been playing, and maybe the thing that we are talking about in reality is nothing like what we think it means. And so yeah, I'm going to pick this up from page 6, read a couple pages. I found that trying to sight read it, to cold read it, oh, I see. Shooting Star Neo says, does it have to be a traditionally published book, or would any narration work qualify? I would love for it to, please spell the name. Sorry. I would love for anything to count, because then, all of the work I've done in audio fiction podcasting would be great. That's probably not bad, but I do think that I need like an actual full book under my belt before I'm going to get real work. So that is why that's happening. And then spelling the name, this probably maybe looks backwards to you. The last name for both of the men is Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti, and then there's Jiddu, which I think is I forget, Jiddu. If you just use UG or JK, that might also come up. Thank you, everybody. I see y'all helping out in the chat. Look at that. Okay, Yeah, without further ado. And so this is basically just the beginning of the book where in chapter 1, we talk about his, like, history. Yeah, let's see here. So, yeah, I'm going to pick it up from, I was brought up in a very religious atmosphere. Oh, yeah, and I guess why I'm reading this and not recording it is, oh, cool, Kate B., you should send me that. I'll definitely do that on a future Self-Care Sunday. Why not? Zach at uplift.is. So, yeah, the last time I recorded the first couple pages here, I was in a voiceover booth. I just recorded it cold, having never read it out loud before. And that was like a real hit or miss. I got to read the content, KP. I can't guarantee I'll read it because hate speech or whatever. But like, yeah, I'm open to it. Let's like figure it out. Anyway, long story short, it occurs to me that if I want the book to come out real good, I got to read it and then read it for the recording, just to like figure out what I can't pronounce and get my head around and my mouth around all the sentences and things. All right. I was brought up in a very religious environment. My grandfather was a very cultured man. He knew Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophical Society, which is the cult that abducted Jiddu Krishnamurti and raised him up so that he would be the kind of person that this guy grew up in the shadow of. He knew Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophical Society, and Olcott, and then later on the second and the third generation of Theosophists. They all visited our house. He was a great lawyer, a very rich man, a very cultured man, and very strangely, a very orthodox man. He was a sort of mixed-up kid. Orthodoxy, tradition on the one side, and then the opposite, theosophy and the whole thing on the other side. He failed to establish a balance. That was the beginning of my problem. Yuji was often told that his mother had said just before she died that and this is a paraphrase quote, Yuji was often told that his mother had said just before she died that he was born to a destiny immeasurably high. His grandfather took this very seriously and gave up his law practice to devote himself to Yuji's upbringing and education. His grandparents and their friends were convinced that he was a yoga brashta, one who had come within inches of enlightenment in his past life. My father had learned men on his payroll, and he dedicated himself, for some reason, I don't want to go into the whole business, to create a profound atmosphere for me and to educate me in the right way, inspired by the Theosophists and the whole lot. And so, every morning, those fellows would come and read the Upanishads, Panchadasi, Naishkarmya Siddhi, I gotta get the pronunciations on all this shit. The commentaries on commentaries, the whole lot, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And this little boy of 5, 6, or 7 years had to listen to all that crap. So much so that by the time I reached my 7th year, I could repeat most of those things. The passages from the Panchadasi, Naishkarmya Siddhi, and this and that and the other. So many holy men visited my house, the Ramakrishna order and the others, you name it, and those fellows had somehow visited that house. This was an open house for every holy man. So one thing I discovered when I was quite young was that they were all hypocrites. They said something, they believed something, and their lives were shallow, nothing. That was the beginning of my search. My grandfather used to meditate. He is dead. I don't want to say anything bad about him. He used to meditate for 1 or 2 hours in a separate meditation room. One day, a little baby, 1.5 or 2 years old, started crying for some reason. That chap came down and started beating the child, and the child turned almost blue. And this man, you see, meditating 2 hours every day. I thought, look, what is this he has done? That posed a sort of, I don't want to use the psychological term, but there is no escape from it, a traumatic experience. I thought, there must be something funny about the whole business of meditation. Their lives are shallow, empty. They talk marvelously, express things in a very beautiful way. But what about their lives? There is this neurotic fear in their lives. They say something, but it doesn't operate in their lives. What is wrong with them? Not that I sat in judgment over those people. Things went on and on and on. So I got involved with these things. Is there anything to what they profess? The Buddha, Jesus, the great teachers? Everybody is talking about moksha, liberation, freedom. What is that? I want to know for myself. These are all useless fellows, yet there must be some person in the world who is an embodiment and an apostle of all those things. If there is one, I want to find out for myself. Then so many things happened. There was one man called Sivananda Saraswati in those days. He was the evangelist of Hinduism. Between the ages of 14 and 21, I'm skipping many of the unnecessary events, I used to go there and meet him very often, and I did everything, all the austerities. I was so young, but I was determined to find out if there was any such thing as moksha, and I wanted that moksha for myself. I wanted to prove to myself, to everybody, that there cannot be any hypocrisy in such people. So, I practiced yoga, I practiced meditation, studied everything. I experienced every kind of experience that the books talked about. Samadhi, super samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, everything. Then I said to myself, thought can create any experience you want. Bliss, beatitude, ecstasy, melting away into nothingness, all those experiences. So this can't be the thing, because I'm the same person, mechanically doing these things. Meditations have no value for me. This is not leading me anywhere. Then, you see, sex became a tremendous problem for me, a young human boy. This is something natural, a biological thing, an urge in the human body. Why do all these people want to deny this sex and suppress something very natural, something that is a part of the whole thing, in order to get something else? This is more real, more important to me than moksha and liberation and all that. This is a reality. I think of gods and goddesses, and I have wet dreams. Why should I feel guilty? It is something natural. I have no control over this kind of thing happening. Meditation has not helped me. Study has not helped me. My disciplines have not helped me. I never touch salt. I never touch chilies or any spice. Then one day I found this man, Sivananda, eating mango pickles from behind closed doors. Here is a man who has denied himself everything in the hope of getting something. But that fellow cannot control himself. He is a hypocrite. I do not want to say anything bad about him. This kind of life is not for me. And then there's italics for where a questioner is asking questions. Between your 14th and 21st year, you say you felt a great urge for sex. Did you marry then? No, I didn't rush. I allowed that. I wanted to experience the sex urge. This is a funny thing to read out loud without being but also whatever. I don't know. This is certainly not what it's all about. Suppose you don't do anything. What happens to that? I wanted to understand this whole business. Why do I want to indulge in these autoeroticisms? I don't know anything about sex. Then why is it that I have all kinds of images of sex? This was my inquiry. This was my meditation, not sitting in lotus posture or standing on my head. How am I able to form these images? I never went to a movie. I never looked at, now you have all kinds of posters. How is it? This is something inside, not put in from outside. The outside is stimulating. Stimulation comes from outside. But there's another kind of stimulation from inside. This is more important to me. I can cut out all that external stimulation successfully, but how can I cut out this from inside? I wanted to find this out. And then I was also interested in finding out what this sex experience was. Although I myself had not experienced sex, I seemed to know what that sex experience was like. This went on and on and on. I did not rush to have sex with a woman or anything. I allowed things to happen in their own way. That was a time when I didn't want to marry. My aim was to become an ascetic, a monk, and all that kind of thing, not marriage. But things happened, and I said to myself, if it is a question of satisfying your sex urge, why not marry? That is what society is there for. Why should you go and have sex with some woman? You can have a natural expression of sex in marriage. It's definitely from a particular time. I arrived at a point when I was 21 where I felt very strongly that all teachers, Buddha, Jesus, Sri Ramakrishna, everybody, kidded themselves, and deluded everybody. This, you see, could not be the thing at all. Where is the state that these people talk about and describe? That description seems to have no relation to me, to the way I am functioning. Everybody says, don't get angry. I am angry all the time. I'm full of brutal activities inside, so that is false. What these people are telling me I should be is something false. And because it is false, it will falsify me. I don't want to live the life of a false person. I'm greedy, and non-greedy is what they are talking about. There is something wrong somewhere. This greed is something real, something natural to me. What they are talking about is unnatural. So something is wrong somewhere, but I'm not ready to change myself, to falsify myself, for the sake of being in a state of non-greed. My greed is a reality to me. I lived in the midst of people who talked of these things everlastingly. Everybody was false, I can tell you. So somehow, what you call existentialist nausea, I didn't use those words at the time, but now I happen to know those terms, revulsion against everything sacred and everything holy, crept into my system and threw everything out. No more slokas, no more religion, no more practices. There isn't anything there. But what is there is something natural. I am a brute. I am a monster. I am full of violence. This is reality. I am full of desire. Desirelessness, non-greed, non-anger, those things have no meaning to me. They are false. And they are not only false, they are falsifying me. So I said to myself, I'm finished with the whole business. But it is not that simple, you see. Then somebody came along, and we were discussing all these things. He found me practically an atheist, but not a practicing atheist, skeptical of everything, heretical down to my boots. He said, there is one man here, somewhere in Madras, at Tiruvannamalai, I gotta get the pronunciation of that one, called Ramana Maharshi. Come on, let's go and see that man. He is a living human embodiment of the Hindu tradition. I didn't want to see any holy man. If you have seen one, you've seen them all. I never shopped around, went around searching for people, sitting at the feet of the masters, learning something, because everybody tells you, do more and more of the same thing, and you will get it. What I got were more and more experiences, and then those experiences demanded permanence. And there is no such thing as permanence. So the holy men are all phony. So The holy men are all phonies. They are telling me only what is there in the books. That I can read. Do the same again and again. That I don't want. Experiences I don't want. They're trying to share an experience with me. I am not interested in experience. Your local phonetics enthusiast is ready. Oh, wow. There's so much in the chat that I have not kept up with. Who else low-key grew up in a cult? I think all of us in our own way, frankly. This book went really weird really quickly. Oh, just you wait. Let's see here. So interesting. I really love hearing y'all's perspective on this. And Siddhartha was a really beautiful book that I read at the right time for me. And this definitely shits on a lot of that. No, don't end the stream. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to read for that much longer because I should get back on the road, but this has been very fun. Let's see how far we can get here. Okay, so the last page ends with, I'm not interested in experience. As far as experience goes, for me, there is no difference between the religious experience and the sex experience or any other experience. The religious experience is like any other experience. I am not interested in experiencing Brahman. I'm not interested in experiencing reality. I am not interested in experiencing truth. They might help others, but they cannot help me. I am not interested in doing more of the same. What I have done is enough. At school, if you want to solve a mathematical problem, you repeat it again and again. You solve the mathematical problem, and you discover that the answer is in the problem. So what the hell are you doing trying to solve the problem? It is easier to find the answer first, instead of going through all this. So reluctantly, hesitatingly, unwilling, I went to see Ramana Maharshi. That fellow dragged me. He said, go there. He said, go there once. Something will happen to you. He talked about it and gave me a book, Search in Secret India by Paul Brunton. So I read the chapter relating to this man. All right, I don't mind. Let me go and see. That man was sitting there. From his very presence, I felt, what? This man, how can he help me? This fellow who is reading comic strips, cutting vegetables, playing with this, that, or the other, how can this man help me? He can't help me. Anyway, I sat there. Nothing happened. I looked at him, and he looked at me. In his presence, you feel silent. Your questions disappear. His look changes you. All that remained a story, fancy stuff to me. I sat there. There were a lot of questions inside, silly questions. So, the questions have not disappeared. I have been sitting here for 2 hours, and the questions are still there. All right, let me ask him some questions. Because at that time, I very much wanted moksha. This part of my background, moksha, I wanted. You are supposed to be a liberated man. I didn't say that. Can you give me what you have? I asked him this question, but that man didn't answer. So after some lapse of time, I repeated the question. I am asking, whatever you have, can you give it to me? He said, I can give you, but can you take it? Boy, for the first time, this fellow says that he has something that I can't, that he has something and that I can't take it. Nobody before had said this. I can give you, but this man said, I can give you, but can you take it? Then I said to myself, if there is any individual in this world who can take it, it is me, because I have done so much sadhana, 7 years of sadhana. He can think I can't take it, but I can take it. If I can't take it, who can take it? This was my frame of mind at the time. You know, I was so confident of myself. I didn't stay with him. I didn't read any of his books. I asked him a few more questions. Can one be free sometimes and not free some other times? He said, either you are free or you are not free at all. There was another question that I don't remember. He answered in a very strange way. There are no steps leading you to that. But I ignored all these things. These questions didn't matter to me. The answers didn't interest me at all. But this question, can you take it? How arrogant he is. That was my feeling. Why can't I take it, whatever it is? What is it that he has? That was my question. A natural question. So the question formulated itself. What is that state that all those people, Buddha, Jesus, and the whole gang were in? Ramana is in that state. Supposed to be. I don't know. But that chap is like me, a human being. How is he different from me? What others say or what others say or what he is saying is of no importance to me. Anybody can do what he is doing. What is there? He can't be very much different from me. He was also born from parents. He has his own particular ideas about the whole business. Some people say something happened to him, but how is he different from me? What is there? What is that state? That was my fundamental question, the basic question. That went on and on and on. I must find out what that state is. Nobody can give that state. I am on my own. I have to go on this uncharted sea without a compass, without a boat, with not even a raft to take me. I am going to find out for myself what the state is in which that man. I am going to find out for myself what the state is in which that man is. I wanted that very much. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given my life. And with that, I'm going to pause for this week's Self-Care Sunday. I'm not sure if continuing to read this book as a segment on Self-Care Sunday is going to make any sense. It is something I might break off into a separate stream. I've been contemplating like a read-along channel on something, probably Twitch. And at some point I will make the audiobook available, probably for like a pay whatever you want on some website somewhere, or on Amazon, or both, or I don't know, maybe just like hoard the MP3 like a weird dragon, weird audiobook aspiring voiceover artist dragons. Probably not that last one. Y'all, this has been fucking real. So fun to make lemonade with y'all as I did not accomplish my goal of getting home to do some music. I will see you next Sunday with another exciting installation of Self-Care Sunday, where we bring back mouth sounds and maybe even ruffles. I don't want to overpromise. Let's not overpromise. Okay. With that, everybody, thank you to everybody who tuned in, either live or not live. Definitely drop us something in the chat, a hello, what you're up to, what's going on. I'll be in touch via the Twitter and maybe the comment feature on YouTube here to convey timing for next Sunday. Probably 3:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time, but don't quote me on that because I don't have my calendar in front of me and I got to figure that out, and wasn't planning on streaming next weekend until this. Ren Fair sounds super fun. I've been once. It was really fun. It made me want to have more costume than I had and bring a battle axe of some kind. But anyway, another shout out, thank you to all the patrons of my personal Patreon. Y'all are fucking awesome, and help make my life easier by making my internet bill something that I can invest more in, among other things. But also shout out to all the No Bad Ideas patrons and people who support my work with Long Story Short Productions, the business that makes audio fictions with Gabrielle Urbina and Sarah Shackett. We love you guys. I love you guys. And your support goes a long way to making everything possible. And with that, I wish you all a safe, healthy, exciting, badass week. And I'm going to get my ass back on the road to go put myself to bed at some reasonable hour. Until next time, Zach Valenti signing off. Peace, y'all. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.